What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. This is Luke Mann, and today I want to talk about what to do after you've already invested so much time, so much money into all the gear to have all the right stuff for your guitar playing, and still you don't have the desired results for your guitar playing. This is a subject that's really near and dear to my heart. This is an environment that's really near and dear to my heart, so I thought I'd share it with you. And go ahead and keep focused, because I'm actually going to be sharing with you exactly the steps that you need to do to actually get those results, or don't. Either is perfectly fine by me. I'm actually using this video to sift out people that I want to work with, because if you can't retain focus to watch a 14-minute video, then you definitely can't retain focus to absorb all the knowledge that I provide in my coaching that will actually get you those results. Okay, awesome. So yeah, obviously the answer may not be exactly what you think right now. You're probably thinking, yeah, I just need to practice more. And let's talk about that, because I speak with so many people on the internet. I hit people up. I say, how are you doing? How's your guitar playing going? And very often the very first thing to come up is this ego response, this big, well, kid, I've been playing guitar for 30 years. At this point, I know all I'm ever going to learn, and there's not much more I can get. Let's talk about what's so wrong with that mindset right off the bat, because that's easy to get sucked into. If you're watching this, you're probably actually are an awesome guitarist, but at any level you need to remember the highest athletes, the highest performing athletes, artists all across the grid, they all have one thing in common. They have a coach to continuously guide them, because they have all the knowledge in the sport, whatever it is, to correct their inefficiencies, to show them new ways to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of music, of sports, whatever it is. There's always that mentor, that Obi-Wan Kenobi in the background that's guiding them. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that mindset, dude. No matter where you are in your guitar playing journey, there's always so much farther you can go. And deep down, even if you don't want to admit that, I don't want to admit it most of the time, it's true. It's so true, okay? And the reason I bring that up, the reason why earlier I was saying, oh, this is near and dear to my heart, is because for 6 years, I personally thought, okay, I can really play the guitar at this point in my life. I know all the scales, I know the theory, but I really wanted to play jazz guitar. If you're watching this, you're probably not totally crazy about jazz guitar. Just a guess. But I knew jazz was going to be the next level to increase my musicianship. So if you're one of those people saying like, I've been playing guitar, that's the other thing I want to say. I've been playing guitar for 30 years. I pretty much know everything. Okay, let's look at what playing guitar for 30 years actually means. Does that mean every single day you are learning from an advanced mentor, from all the best concepts? Let's look at how much guitar playing has changed in the past 30 years. Okay, in the past 30 years, we've gone from Pantera, Guns N' Roses, maybe even Skid Row, you could sneak them in, earliest of 90s, to Polyphia. That's like the most awesome modern guitar band I've seen, and like, not to mention 50 years. Like if we go back to Jimi Hendrix, if we go back to Eddie Van Halen. Anyway, most of these people that say, I've been playing guitar for 30 years, have been playing the exact same thing for 30 years. It's so funny how many people, like I said, I talk to a lot of people on the internet. I constantly pick people's brains, and what they say is always the same. And I see this in people that I help as well. One, I'm tired of trying to follow along videos from a different YouTube guitar teacher to the next YouTube guitar teacher. It's so hard to follow along in these videos. I don't understand what's being played. I try to learn this one riff, okay? But I go to the next video because I'm hoping, as my adrenaline's pumping because I'm so psyched on these concepts. Okay, they go to the next video, hoping to find the next riff, but instead of the next riff, it's actually the same riff, only played different, to even further their confusion. Okay, that's the first thing that they say all the time. Next thing that's said all the time is, every time I try to play something new on the guitar, and this is you, all of you ego enthusiasts, all of you, I've been playing guitar for 20 years. I've been playing guitar for 44 years, all of you. You know what, there's so many people watching this video that are like biting their lip right now, like, God damn it, that's me. But all of you are the same guy that's saying, I try to learn new riffs, but I just end up playing the stuff I already know. I play the stuff I already know over and over, and I can't retain focus. This is exactly what I talked about the first time, where sometimes I pick up the guitar and then I'll put it down for a while. I never have that consistency that it takes to really plow through a plateau, whether it's something as simple as learning the song, or it's something as complex as learning fairly easy theoretical concepts behind the song and how you can then take those and apply them to your own music, which is actually a really epic concept that I'm teaching, that I'm coaching in premium guitar coaching. And it's the basis, it's not the basest, it's the basis of how any music is made, how any place that you're applying these concepts to your own music can be made, all right? Any piece of music that you play, this is another thing that I hear all the time, is I hear, so I'm trying to keep the sun out of the shot here, I hear people say, I can play lots of riffs. I can play Metallica, Master of Puppets. I can play some Judas Priest songs, but I have no idea why they're choosing those notes, especially when it comes down to the solos, how all those riffs are connected together, and how, again, I can use them for my own playing, okay? So I know I'm a little bit all over the place now. I'm talking about mindset, number one. You have to get off your high horse, okay? It was hard for me too. My jazz guitar mentor, amazing player. And I know that I'm a good guitar player, okay? And I have no bones about it. I can say that. I know I'm a good guitar player. But the truth of the matter is he's better. And it's not necessarily that he's better, okay? Although he is, I'm gonna go ahead and say my jazz guitar mentor is a way better overall guitarist than I am. But it's not just about that. It's the fact that he excels in an area that I don't. So even though I'm a good guitarist, I know how to put together songs, put together solos, play my own solos over songs that I like to listen to. And I know how to teach that to people from the ground up. It doesn't mean that I now know how to play over a 16 chord standard that's basic in all of jazz music, but I can't play the first 4 chords, the first 4 measures of. Okay? And this is where my jazz guitar mentor stepped in. He took one look at my playing. Over the course of 2 weeks, he took one look at my playing. He said, this is where you're lacking. This is where you're thinking of it wrong. And this is what we need to do instead. Okay? And so all I did was I thought back into high school when I myself was just getting started in a lot of the concepts that I'm talking about today. One, simple things like knowing what is the grid, what is the framework on the fretboard, how does that work, where is it in the songs that I already know, and how do I apply it to the songs that I want to write. When I was there, and it's one further because my jazz guitar teacher said, you can't think of it that way. Okay, it's gonna mess you up because there's so many fast-paced, so many moving chords in this jazz music that if you think of it that way, it's gonna be overwhelming. And it was overwhelming. And it was overwhelming for 6 years in between high school and in between reaching out to a jazz guitar mentor, because I literally thought I could do it myself. I didn't make the connection. That, hey, the reason I thrived so much in my guitar playing, in my technique, in my theory, in my improvisation and songwriting was because there was 8 fantastic guitar mentors around me in different styles: flamenco, jazz, metal, rock, classical, chamber music. And then there was my cutthroat classmates that were so hyped on getting better at the guitar, that were so hyped in the positive competition of like, oh, you got that lick? Well, I got this lick. You know, what do you got now? Getting so caught into that competition and just like keeping myself up at night because I needed to get down that Racer X lick. I didn't realize that that wasn't apparent when I was busy playing for professional bands, playing for my own band, traveling the world for 6 years, basically a guitarist for hire as well as a, composer, musician for my own band. I didn't realize that that environment wasn't there. I thought if I were to jump from YouTube video to YouTube video, I would get it, because again, my ego was so high. I thought, I've been playing guitar for 14 years. I'm gonna figure out jazz. Guess what? You know what I figured out? I figured out it doesn't work like that, It's not my fault I was ignorant. I can't change the past, but can change the future. So that's why I continue to seek out my jazz guitar mentor, make time to have sessions with him. And that's why it further instills in me what I'm doing with this business is so sick. It's so sick because I get to save people an immense amount of time. It's so sick because the results that I get them last long after I'm gone, and because it's one-on-one. It's one-on-one, so I actually get to take a look at their specific situation with their bands, with the music that they're working on. I mean, the people that I'm working with, sure, there's some people that I'm starting from the ground up, and that's fine. That's super easy. I have that system down to a science because I've been testing this for about 1.5 years now, just bouncing tricks that I thought worked just for me off of people, come to find that, hey, these actually work for everyone just fine. They're getting crazy results in a small amount of time because that information they don't have to learn on themselves. It's basically just spoon-fed to them on a silver platter. But what's really fun for me is to take a look at people I'm working with that are recording artists, that are in big bands that play in festivals and so on, because their riffs are so sick as it is. They play such cool music, and it's my joy to show them, dude, these are all the paintbrushes that you have to use, because a lot of people don't know. They don't know all the paintbrushes that are available for them as an artist. As a fly's attacking my eye and throat. And that's where it's so cool for me to step in and say, check it out. These are the paintbrushes that are available. And it's stuff that's so simple, that's so obvious to me, that's even almost boring to me because I've been working on it for so long. But for them, it's like a whole new world. It's very eye-opening for these guitarists. So to get a little bit back to my title of the video today, what to do after you've already invested. You've invested the time, you've invested the money into nice guitars, into the guitar teacher, but you still haven't had the results that you really wanted because you still haven't had the one-on-one attention. You still haven't had the proven process, the process that's been defined over trial and error for years upon years. And because somewhere along the line, you got really good at guitar. You know what, not even quotes. You probably got really good at guitar, but you settled because you got really good on guitar, you know? And what happens to a shark in the wild when it stops swimming is it dies, you know? And I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be a fear. I don't want to market a product out of fear, okay? That's not really what I'm about. I'm about positive vibes. So sure, there is that logic. You know, a shark in the wild, it will die, unfortunately, if it stops swimming. But, you know, the truth of the matter is you invest this much money into your education on the guitar. You invest this much money into your amps, into your guitars for the instrument, and you're still not where you want to be. You probably didn't have the right mentor. You probably weren't executing on the stuff that the mentor gave you. And you probably didn't have proper feedback from the mentor on the things you were executing. Okay, because I've actually had guitar mentorships myself where I would show up and he would say, so what were we doing last week? Whereas online, it's a pretty amazing thing because you can actually be in contact with your mentor on a day-to-day basis. It's not a once a week sort of a deal. It's a day-to-day basis where you can actually see yourself improving and have the progress tracked. And then at the end, look back at, oh my gosh, how far have you come? It's crazy. And the truth of the matter is, no matter how much money you invest into your amps, into your gear, it's not going to correct the tone. It's not going to correct the inefficiencies in your playing, okay? For that, you need the proper guidance. You need someone to identify, there's the inefficiency. This is what you need to do instead. Okay, now do that instead for a couple days and show me what you're doing. Actually, you're executing on that slightly wrong. It should be like this. You need that. That's what fixes the inefficiencies in your playing. That's what gets you to the level of your playing where you can actually pull off that Jimi Hendrix solo, Eric Clapton solo, Jimmy Page tune, Zakk Wylde solo, whatever it is, whatever you fancy. And again, that's what excites me about what I do is to see these people bit by bit plow through these small boundaries and make it to the other side. That's something that gear can't buy you, unfortunately. But again, it's something that excites me to do. And that's why I'm doing this. And so if you feel inspired right now, I'm gonna get those gains on the guitar. I'm gonna pick up my guitar, start practicing right now. Make sure you're practicing the right things. Make sure you're executing with the right mentor. Okay, because the thing is that motivation you feel, this positive energy that I hopefully poured into your cerebrum from this computer screen or iPhone screen will fade. Just as you know it does, just how you may be seen in your guitar playing in the past. You know, you played for a lot, but then you put it down, you know? Okay, that motivation will fade. But having someone to hold you accountable, having someone to help you stay disciplined, having a clear path and a goal and the precise steps to take to execute to actually get there is what's key. It's not motivation, okay? Because motivation is going to go to waste. So if you're thinking, all right, well, if motivation isn't going to help me, what's actually going to help me is a mentorship, then I have a cool opportunity for you. So what you have to do is click that link below. On that link, you're going to fill out an application and you're going to book the exact date and time to get in touch with me and talk with me personally, not a bot, not a computer. Get in touch with me personally. We're going to take a look at your guitar playing right now, where it's been, where it is right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to put together a step-by-step plan to actually get you to that goal. All right. Like I said earlier, this is always very exciting for me. I know it's exciting for you. Okay. So I'll speak with you very, very soon. Have a good one.